at McDonald Jones Stadium. Matty, it's a stunning day here in the Hunter Valley. It really is. There's very little wind to speak of. Bright sunshine, perfect playing conditions. And they'll be hoping the Roosters, the visiting team, that players like Joey Manu, Luke Keary, Jarawira Hargreaves can find their form.
Absolutely, like last weekend at Cogra where they had to shut the gate, so big was the crowd. A big Hunter crowd assembling here as Luke Keary leads the Roosters out. 6 wins, 7 defeats. No Tedesco today, no Collins, but Manu goes to fullback. It's Sandon Smith and Luke Keary in the halves. Don't they need a victory? Their tale of woe across the stat sheet is a long one. Can Joey Manu help fix that, playing fullback today for the 2nd time this season? But listen to this for the home team as it makes an arrival.
The form of the Newcastle Knights has been strong here at home. They'd love a win after a great performance against Brisbane going down, but here we go.
Super Saturday, round 16 underway. Newcastle kicking to the northern end of McDonald Jones Stadium, and straight away it's the new front row forward, Nat Butcher, with the first carry of the afternoon. The starting prop for only the 3rd time in his career, backed up by Daniel Tupou. 2nd carry of this opening set. They've rolled with many punches over the last few weeks, the Roosters, as Jarawira Hargreaves goes forward. Was in Golden Point against Penrith, so it's a much better season at home for them. The biggest crowd here was for that Penrith game, 26,000. Can they go close to that today?
I think the Knights fans have shown they're a pretty resilient bunch, and they've turned up over the last couple of years, even when the form here hasn't been great, and at some stages disastrous. But Matty, they love it up here in the Hunter. They just keep turning up, and when they've got a side that they can be proud of, like this one this year, well, they're even bigger numbers.
The Crossland kick, hard into a Rooster. It bounces back. Kalen Ponga through the line. Here's Dominic Young down the sideline in front of the Andrew John stand that stands and roars at their leading try scorer, Dominic Young. Put it down to Kalen Ponga. He found his way through, and waiting, as all good wingers do, Dominic Young scores the first try again. He's gone in for try number 1.
Well, you've got to make your own luck, Matty, and we were talking about the crowds just as Phoenix Crossland drilled that kick into the defence of the Roosters. It bounced back into the hands of a player that you don't want to have the ball. You don't want to. The Roosters didn't want to see the ball fall into the hands of Kalen Ponga. Into Nat Butcher there. Ponga gets outside Luke Keary, then gets back inside him, beats him. Billy Smith can't get to him and draws Joey Manu beautifully to put Dominic Young down the touchline. Sets up the first try for Newcastle.
And gives Jackson Hastings a really good look right in front to make it 6-0, Lara.
Good chance now for the Roosters.
Tough going for Adam O'Brien over the last couple of months. They've won only 2 of their last 7. The Knights, having started with such promise, another slip. This time for Nat Butcher, who loses his wheels and goes down without anyone around him, backed up by Jarawira Hargreaves. The enforcer, the aggressor through the middle with a long look at Fitzgibbon after he got back to his feet. The offload from Smith. Nat Butcher, the other front rower, in for the Roosters' first try. Straight through the middle, moving from an edge to prop forward, but still a try scorer, Brandy.
Yeah, that's terrific stuff there from Nat Butcher and the Roosters. The turnover to dummy sneaks past Jacob Saifidi. Somehow Saifidi went straight over the top of Sandon Smith there, who went to the line, realised that the defence had slidden off in Leo Thompson, and for some unknown reason, Jacob Saifidi out of the line, looked like he had Sandon Smith covered. Smith didn't even really duck. Saifidi, the taller man, just went straight over the top. Nat Butcher pushing up and moving with his halfback, but terrific stuff from Butcher and Sandon Smith.
What an early confidence boost for Sandon Smith. Keary adds the extras. The 20-year-old Kincumber Colt setting up the first try. Newcastle has much to conquer as Hastings goes high down the ground, where It's comfortably read by Tupou. And Daniel, re-signed for next season, gets back beyond his 20-metre line.
Yeah, big in, isn't it, Daniel Tupou? He returned last week after missing 4 or 5 because of a hamstring problem, but the experience and the work that he'll do for the Roosters this afternoon, they're priceless.
As will be the work of this man through the middle. Nat Butcher, the Roosters try scorer this season, or earlier today. Now Tupanua to Manu, who dummies and goes himself. Joey Manu fends away from Dominic Young, falls down in the in goal, and the Roosters get their second try from range.
Kalen Ponga, marker's not working. Daniel Jacob Saifidi a bit slow to react there, and that opened up the space for Joey Manu with an inside pass from Tupanua. Throws the dummy, fools Kalen Ponga. One-on-one, the one-on-one battle there. And Joey Manu with enough speed, despite the attention there from Dominic Young coming from the other side. Great play from Tupanua to drag in Tyson Gamble, to realise that the markers were a bit slow to react, and that opened up the space in behind to play the ball. Joey Manu does the rest. Players just aren't playing like everyone expected them to, and Joey Manu is one of those. But that's a big moment and a conversion from Keary to put them up by 6.
In the opening half, Tupanua gets just what the Roosters needed. Newcastle had 60% of the ball and 70% in the opposition territory, and now they're going to cash in again. Dominic Young in for try number 2. The Roosters are killing themselves. Error after error.
Yep.
Time off. Unreviewed for possible knock-on after the strip.
Did he slap it up cleanly, Dane Gagai, or did it touch a Newcastle Knight? Billy Smith with the carry.
Dane Gagai strips the ball in a one-on-one motion. The ball then comes off Jackson Hastings' left arm and goes forward back into Dane Gagai.
Yeah.
We have a decision.
So Dominic Young will be stripped of his second try, back to 1 for the afternoon.
So it will be a Newcastle ball, though. Oh.
Off the back of that error, Hutchison goes to Corey Allen, who has Crossland around his legs. Angus Crichton on the charge. Didn't even think of passing. He sucks in 3 defenders. And now they'll go left. Sandon Smith goes to the line, and Egan Butcher is wrapped up. Nat Butcher peeling back to the right. Smith calling Tupanua underneath. Just looking a little out of sync the last few plays, the Roosters. And now Turpin through Brown. Here's Sandon Smith. Hutchison, they build numbers. Daniel Tupou in the corner. They got that right. They worked it perfectly. And on the end of it is their proven finisher.
And on this occasion, the Knights can't, after Fitzgibbons pushed past, came up with the Roosters ball, and then they almost had the whole team in that play, didn't they? They had so many players in motion. Nathan Brown was involved, Sandon Smith out the back. Drew Hutchison throws one across the face of Billy Smith out to Daniel Tupou, and almost impossible to stop in that situation. The big winger, Big Tupes, crashes through the tackle there of Dane Gagai and gives the Roosters a handy lead now, Matty.
He wanted a second and he took some stopping. It was a good stop, Matt Croker. Hutchison takes the line on, gets the ball away. Scooped up, another offload. Here's Sandon Smith drifting across the ground. He pulls the trigger on a long ball for Allen. He couldn't beat Gamble one-on-one. Smith. Brown slips. How many players have lost their footing in the opposition 20-metre zone today? Really slippery out there. Butcher, Hutchison, now Egan Butcher. Manu doubles back, the flick offload. Drew Hutchison powering for the line. Hutchison says, "I've scored, sir." He's gone in for the Roosters' 4th try, and Grant Atkins agrees. And it looks like the bunker is siding with you.
Review held up. We're coming into tackle 5, so there's still one left.
So have they scrambled desperately well enough here,
We've
the
cleared the
Knights?
play coming up to this point. Kalen Ponga wraps his hand underneath the ball. This prevents the ball from getting to the ground. Keep going, throwing it. And the ball is held up. It will be tackle 5, play the ball to Knights. We have a decision.
Let's get the clock reset. It'll be the last tackle. Okay, stay back. It's our last tackle.
So Newcastle, with 1:17 left, can apply the blowtorch here. Manu has Hastings around his legs. And the penalty goes to the visitors.
Repack? No. Do you want to
Increased in importance when Keary was forced out of the game. He's had a fine first 40 and he caps it with a goal. It's the Roosters 18 leading Newcastle 6 as we head to half-time. No Matt Lodge today in terms of selection, no Lindsay Collins either. He's yet to have a breather. 16 carries, more than 130 run metres for a man starting in the middle.
Yeah, and it was right from the first kickoff, Matty, where he took it into the meat of the Newcastle defence, where you thought, well, he's in for a big game, Nat Butcher, and that's exactly what it's been from him.
Is he going to play the 80 as a middle forward, or is there a breather somewhere in this second half? Here he is defensively, the leading tackler in the NRL, Nat Butcher. Trent Robinson said pre-game he's our hardest worker. Here's Ponga, ball away, must score surely, Gagai, Dom Young at number 2. The Knights are back, and a crowd of 20,000 plus says we'll get you home from here.
Well, it's their third line break of this half, Matty, and they finally come up with a 4-pointer, and they had to. Down the right side again, Kalen Ponga involved. Nice hands on the inside, Tyson Gamble, Jackson Hastings. Great delivery there from Ponga out to Dane Gagai. He squared up Joey Manu just so he couldn't slide across to make the tackle. Couple of slips there, Daniel Tupou. That certainly didn't help the Roosters' defensive line. Just losing his footing, and see Dane Gagai angle back in towards Joey Manu. And Dom Young, well, they've come down this sideline a number of times, haven't they, today, producing something for his outside men. The Roosters' goal line defence and scramble to get there in the numbers that they have today has been something that we haven't seen from them very often this year.
Billy Smith loses his legs. Dane Gagai in hard. And now Gagai again, the veteran, trying to inspire his men. He's certainly lifting the crowd. And Mafahu White crosses the 30-metre line. This is the last. Smith, inside ball, Crichton. He flicked it out to no one. And here's a problem for the Roosters. Straight down the ground and away. Best surging up the field. They won't catch him. They push the past the Roosters and they pay a big price. Bradman Best goes the length, and there's some atmosphere at McDonald Jones Stadium now.
We saw a couple of big defensive plays here from Dane Gagai. Billy Smith, then out of marker on Warrior Hargreaves. Jams the front rower. Sandon Smith combines with Angus Crichton, who flicks it out. Smith couldn't reach the ball, but it bounced perfectly for Bradman Best, and he put a great move on Joey Manu. No Rooster in sight. And it will be a 2-point ball game in a moment. Angus Crichton, last play, thinking he just had to get rid of the ball. And the pass not finding the mark and not finding Sandon Smith, the intended receiver, and Bradman Best scoop and goes 75, 80 metres. It's 2-point difference now, Matty.
10 minutes to play. Bradman Best, one of the Knights to play every game this season. Dane Gagai, bad, but a big tackle. The Butcher boys, both of them, fantastic today. Joey Manu, outstanding. Daniel Tupou likewise. The Roosters with fists clenched